thank you all, first of all, on this Friday, wet Friday. You could have been anywhere doing anything, but y'all are here, and we appreciate the support. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I hope that you all enjoyed the vittles. Everybody good? Yes. And hopefully, I know it's raining, so maybe some people are, going to be here a little late. So at the end, if it's anything left over, we got a few to-go boxes. We'll see how that works. I got a teenage boy back there, so hopefully he won't hide any of the chicken fingers up in. And we got another teenager in the house, so I think we'll be good. We won't have too many leftovers. So this is our inaugural digital state of the county, not to be confused with the state of the county, because that's a whole nother lane, and I don't want to be in that lane. So we're going to try to do this every year, where we bring the community together with the stakeholders, with the internet service providers, with our youth, with our seniors, with our business owners, to talk about digital equity. So I don't know if y'all been watching the news. It might be some changes in the world of digital equity. We applied for a grant. I don't know if we're going to get that grant under this new administration. Hopefully we will, but we don't know. And if we don't, guess what? We're going to figure out another way to get the job done, unless they lay me off or something, or put me in another position. I don't know how that's going to work. So we're going to get started. Nigel, you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. I might not need it. Can everybody hear me? Hello? Well, my name is Nigel GK. I'm the Digital Equity Associate for the Office of Digital Equity. And like Ms. Thomas said, we thank you for coming out this evening. We express our utmost gratitude, especially because of the weather conditions tonight. So thank you for joining us for the special occasion where we'll be discussing different digital equity initiatives in the county.
And Lynn, if you can hear me, can we cue the presentation? Although I just got a new do, don't mind looking at it, but I want to see the presentation too. Okay, there we go. Digital equity, right? So we're going to talk about what is digital equity, why do we need digital equity, how it affects our county, because every county is different. Counties up north might have different needs and issues than we have. And we might have some good things that they don't have. So it's unique to every community. We're just gonna wait for this presentation to come up. And my name is Takia. I know most of you here. There's a few new faces. I'm Takia Thomas. I'm the Digital Equity Administrator. Like Nigel said, he's the Digital Equity Associate. We are like the dynamic duo that's conquering all the digital skills training and device giveaways in the county. A lot of you have benefited from that, so we're grateful that we are in a position to be able to help you, and it's going to help close the digital divide in Clayton County. Our office is a little over 2 years old. July 2022 is when we started. The time has gone so fast, and it's so much. We're going to have a slide where we show what impact that our office has made. And I've even been told, just full transparency moment, why do we even need a digital equity office? Y'all need to worry about, the roads or the this or the that. But we do. So we did a digital equity study. We're going to talk about that. We need to close the digital divide. Some people may not agree, but some will, and that's okay. All right, let's see if I can work this thing. So that's me and Nigel. So we already introduced ourselves, so I'll skip on through. This is our mission, is to ensure that all residents and businesses, this is not just for residents, and really employees too, because we have a technical training program for our county employees, to have equal access to affordable, not just affordable, but reliable internet access or high-speed internet. Technology by way of computers, cell phones, whatever the technology. It could be assistive technologies in the libraries, and of course the skills needed to survive and compete in the digital world. And that's why we do our free digital skills trainings. So before we get all the way into the program, we want to thank our county leadership. Without our leadership, this office wouldn't have been formed. The approval to accept donations wouldn't be approved. The communications request to come out and video and, you know, all of the things that's needed to make our office run. We want to thank all of our leaders that are involved, starting at the top with our chairwoman, our new chairwoman, Dr. Alika Anderson Henry. District 1 Vice Chair Elena Reeves, who's here. Commissioner Hambrick, District 2, she's here. District 3, Tashay Allen, she wasn't able to attend, and Commissioner Davis in District 4, some of you may know, he's in California. He had an emergency with all of these crazy wildfires. One of his parents' house burned down, and he was okay with me telling y'all that. So he had to go take care of that, but he did create a video for us, so y'all will get to see him. And then, of course, we have Mr. Dietrich Stanford, my good buddy. And then our Deputy Chief Operating Officer, Landry, and our amazing CIO, Jamie, and where's Matthew? The man with the plan. He's always living the dream. He's our Deputy CIO. So I just want to take a moment, just a couple minutes, if Chairwoman and Jamie could come up and, you know, get on y'all little soapbox and shine for a minute.
Good evening, everyone. All right, it's a pleasure to be here with you all today. I want to thank the team, Matthew, Jamie, Takia, and Nigel, for the great job that you do. And guys, let's give a round of applause to Takia one more time for putting this together. You know, I want to come from behind here, but I'm gonna stay on point, y'all. But I want to say this. You know, I've been putting out challenges, you know, with our staff to kind of start looking at grants, and we know what's going on in DC, but we also know that grants are very important. So we're not gonna worry about what's going on up there. If I got to go see him and make sure our grants go through, I might have to take a trip up there, y'all. What y'all think? Because I'm gonna stand bold on that. We're not gonna, you know, because again, we need those grants. We need them for our school system. We also have our school system here as well. Would you stand up and be recognized? Clayton County Public Schools. Yes, yes, yes. And I just want to say that, you know, we're all working together. We're going to continue to work together. And, you know, and we have to let our voices be heard. And so, you know, one thing we know is that, you know, when we collaborate, when we communicate, and we are consistent, then we know that things can get done. And so we're not just going to stay in Clayton County. We got to take it to the top so we can't be stopped. Y'all got that? All right, thank you, thank you, thank you. So to everyone here, I'm just happy to be here. Welcome to Clayton County, if you're not from our county, where the world lands and opportunities take off. It is an honor to stand before you today. Again, my name is Dr. Alika Anderson Henry, and as we gather this evening for the first, when I say the first ever digital State of the Clayton County Town Hall meeting, I just say I am elated to be here today. This event marks a pivotal moment in our county's commitment to digital equity, transparency, and innovation. Let's engage in an open, honest dialogue about where we are going, and how we are going to get there together. Yeah. Together. That's the main thing, together. In today's world, access to technology, I'm getting tongue-tied, y'all. Access to technology is access to opportunity. Whether it's applying for jobs, attending virtual classes, scheduling healthcare appointments, or simply staying informed, a strong digital foundation is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity, don't you think? Oh, yes, we all have to learn how to do technology. Even my mother, she fusses about it, y'all. She's 75 years old, but I say, Mama, you got to stick to it till you get it, all right? And that's what I tell her. Here in Clayton County, we recognize that not all residents have the same level of access to technology, reliable internet, or digital literacy resources. That is why we are working diligently to ensure that every household, every school, And every business has the tools needed to succeed in an increasingly digital world. Communication is imperative. You know, I always talk about those 3 C's: communication, collaboration, and consistency. So communication is imperative. Through digital equity initiatives, we are expanding internet access across underserved areas, providing technology training and resources for students, seniors, and job seekers, enhancing online government services to make information and assistance easier to access. Our goal is simple, everyone, very simple. No resident should be left behind in this digital age. And y'all know I like to emphasize, no resident in Clayton County should be left behind in this digital age. All right now. The success of our digital transformation depends on all of us together. County leadership, businesses, educators, nonprofits, and most importantly, you, the residents of Clayton County. Through collaboration, we can engage the community in shaping digital policies and programs that reflect your needs. Partner with local organizations and businesses to provide resources and training. Create innovative solutions that make county services more accessible and efficient. When we come together with a shared vision, we don't just solve problems. We create opportunities for growth, innovation, and prosperity. And I love that word, prosperity, because we're a prosperous county. Y'all know that. All right. This town hall is just the beginning. Ensuring digital equity and innovation requires ongoing effort, accountability, and consistency. We are committed to regular updates on digital initiatives and progress, continued investment in digital infrastructure and training programs, and keeping the lines of communication open, because your input will always be essential. This is not a one-time discussion. We're going to keep doing this and keep doing this. We can't just stop here. It's a long-term mission to ensure that Clayton County remains at the forefront of digital process today and in the future. So I invite you all, our community members, educators, business owners, and leaders, to be a part of this movement, because we are in a movement of digital equity. Share your insights, ask questions, and get involved in shaping a digital future that works for everyone. Together, through communication, collaboration, and consistency. Let's say it together. Communication, collaboration, and consistency. We will make Clayton County a model for digital inclusion, innovation, and opportunity. Thank you all for coming out tonight. And again, welcome to Clayton County, where the world lands and opportunities take off. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I couldn't have said it better. I'm mad that I have to go after all that. So I'm Jamie Montalvo. I'm the Chief Information Officer. And first, I would like to say thank you to Kia and Nigel. Since the office has been formed, they have been hitting the ground running. They're out in the streets, out in the community, teaching classes, letting everybody know about various programs and offers. So I just want to give them another round of applause for all the work they've done. And I just want to say, please, let other people in your community know about these programs. These are free resources just for you, for the citizens. And we want to make sure that this office is here for you and your needs. So please tell as many people as you can. We want them all. Also, thank you for Commissioner Hambrick, Commissioner Reeves for being here. We definitely appreciate the support that you all give to us. And we want to hear from you, so let us know your feedback about other courses that you would like to receive and have, and any information that you would like to hear about and put out. So thank you all for coming. We appreciate your support, and we look forward to continuing the efforts in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. And I did thank the leadership already, but I do want to thank Jamie and Matthew again for giving me the space and the freedom to just fly. Half the time, they don't even know where I'm at, but they know I'm working. They know I'm getting it done. So thank you for letting me be creative and, you know, create my own little path and work with you all to get your input and just build a good program organically that actually works for you. And we don't want to just give you something that you're not going to use. So if it's classes, like she said, if it's classes that you want, y'all know we got Python that just started, and y'all have been maxing that class out. If it's something else you want to learn, if we don't know it, we'll learn it, and then we'll teach it to you. So let's get into this presentation, and y'all going to get to participate in a minute. So everyone, see, this is a digital equity town hall, so you're actually going to learn something too. Who knows or doesn't know how to scan a QR code? Oh, everybody? Who doesn't know? You don't know how to scan? I know you know how to scan a QR code. Yeah, who doesn't know how to scan a QR code? All y'all know how to scan a QR code? Does anybody know? Everybody know what a QR code is? Everybody knows? Okay. These classes are working. Okay. That's good. Okay. So we're going to do like a little poll, but we got a few things first. This is the agenda for tonight. You all enjoyed our network. Did you enjoy our networking reception? Did anybody, you know, get a business card or find out something about a neighbor that they didn't know? And of course, the vittles, as we mentioned. We're done with our opening remarks. I'm going to do a presentation now about the digital state of Clayton County, just some touch points that you all might want to know. And then we're going to do a panel discussion about why is digital equity important. And then we're going to meet our internet service providers. We have one, two, there was a third. Who was my third provider? Just two? He's on a separate panel. Okay, I'll look at my notes. So y'all go easy on them. They're just here to share information. This is all, you know, we're all family. We're going to have a nice, pleasant night, right? We will allow a little time for questions. So just be thinking about if there's anything about your service at your home, maybe that you have a question about, this would be a good time to ask that question. And then we'll have our closing remarks. So the digital state of Clayton County. Does everyone know what digital equity is? No. No? Okay, well, I'm going to tell you. Can y'all hear me on this? Yeah. It doesn't seem very loud. Who said that, Miss Beverly? Okay, I'll talk louder, Miss Beverly. I'll kiss the microphone. So digital equity, and this is the National Digital Inclusion Alliance definition of what digital equity is, and it's very simple. It's a condition in which all individuals, not just the ones that have more benefit, but all of them and communities have the information technology capacity needed for full participation in our society, our democracy, and our economy. So that just spans into so many different areas. I think it was the chairwoman that mentioned telehealth, you know, school, the grocery store, when you scan your groceries, when you get your boarding pass at the airport, like it's everywhere. Technology is everywhere. When you step out of your house, you need to have a basic knowledge of technology. You don't have to be a guru or work at Microsoft or have that level of genius, but you gotta have like basic, be comfortable with basic technology. And why do we need digital equity? Because it's necessary for civic and cultural participation. Someone asked me tonight what district they lived in. They told me where they lived, and I said, I don't know, I think that's District 2 or District 3. So if we have time, I'm gonna show y'all real quick how you can find your district in Clayton County. And just knowing, I can go to the Clayton County website and go to the zoning page, and you know, you can pull up your property parcel and it'll show you what district you're in. So just simple stuff like that. Just knowing how to get on the internet and find information safely. So that is why we need digital equity. Oh, I didn't mention cultural participation, employment, lifelong learning, and access to essential services. I know, I think it was during COVID when they had, what was that grant? Where we went to the Morrow Center and people applied for, it was like housing, some kind of housing vouchers, rental assistance. So many people told me, I did not know that they were doing that. So if they didn't see the news or if they didn't see it on the Facebook page, or, you know, however else they get information disseminated, they missed out on an essential service. So you don't have to like be on the internet all the time, but you gotta have information. If you're not watching the news 24/7, and half of the time it gets to be a little stressful and depressing, but you gotta know how to get information. So that's why we need it. Am I too far? Oh. Okay. Is there a digital divide in Clayton County? Do y'all think there's a divide, or y'all think we good? There is? Okay, you think it's a big divide, a big gap, or it's a little narrow gap? It's not like huge, but it's a gap. So we don't want a gap, right? We want to close the gap. So there's a gap between those who have affordable access. We have, and I always use this illustration, and this is no attack on my internet service providers, but we have some residents that live in one neighborhood and some that lives in another neighborhood, and the affluency of the two neighborhoods are different, but their bill might be the same. But one speed might be slower and one's is faster. So the divide exists. And anywhere where you have low median income, it's just by default, it's gonna be a gap. Because they're either not gonna have the internet because they can't afford it, or maybe they don't have the knowledge to use it, so they just don't subscribe to it. Or maybe they have a laptop and it broke and they can't afford to fix it. So like the gap is gonna be there. As technology constantly evolves, the digital divide prevents equal participation and opportunity in all parts of life, like all the things that we mentioned before. And it disproportionately affects racial and ethnic minorities, and these are the groups that we kind of target. Racial and ethnic minorities, households with low incomes, persons with disabilities, rural residents, older adults, incarcerated individuals, veterans, and individuals with language barriers. Now, we work mostly with ethnic minority groups, low income, some persons with disabilities. We work with older adults all the time. All of my BFFs are in the room from the Senior Services Center. I love our Tori, is Tori still here? Tori Charter? If Tori's watching, and Melissa, we love senior services. That's where we get most of our activity, at the senior services department. But this department is not a senior services program, but they take advantage of it. So y'all can sleep on what we got going on if you want, but the seniors are gonna take advantage, right, Ms. Beverly? That's right. So we do have a digital divide in Clayton County. And these are just some of the ways, again, how it affects the community, what the impact is. If it's, I don't know, Black Friday sale, but it's only online. Can't go in the store and get it, you gotta get it online. Boom, that's a gap. You just missed out on an opportunity. Students having to travel to do web-based homework. We know during the pandemic, that was like a disaster. The children who did not have internet at home fell behind. And the pandemic really taught us, that's when this digital equity movement really gained steam. Like, we really understood, oh, yeah, this is a problem. We need to fix this. Job seekers missing out on applying for employment or work from home opportunities. So we are at the generation, what is this generation? Are we in the millennials, Gen Z? We're alpha. Who's the working ones? Well, the millennials and the Gen Z. Most of them jokers work from home, right? So if you can't get on the internet and apply, I shouldn't have said jokers, I'm sorry. Y'all know what I mean. Look, we at home, right? We family. All of y'all are not jokers. Let me take that back. But if you don't have access to the internet or a laptop, then you could miss out on a really good opportunity. Or maybe LinkedIn is running an ad about this position that's paying $150,000 and you just got to travel 25%, but you're not on LinkedIn, so you missed out on that opportunity. So we need to fill that gap. Citizens missing out on events like what I've just mentioned about the rental assistance, events advertised online and they're not able to apply for government service. And the last bullet point, smart homes. I never thought that I would really subscribe a lot, like Alexa, that's way too much technology for me. Even though I feel strongly, because we be in full transparency moment, right? Y'all know they listening to us on these phones, right? Okay. So when you put Alexa in your house, oh boy, you just like open the door here, come on, hear everything that I'm doing and saying. So smart homes, but you can turn off your alarm. You can open your garage door. Whatever other things you do with smart home. So turn on the lights. So if you forgot something, or my Ring doorbell, that's my favorite example. My Ring, oh my God, it does get on my nerves, y'all, sometimes. And sometimes I kind of mute the notifications, but imagine if somebody's breaking in your house and you're at work and you can see it. Like if we got in a time ship and went back, I don't know, 50, 60 years and told them, guess what we can do in 2025? If somebody's knocking on my door, I could be at my desk and talk to them and tell them, no, just leave it at the door, or I'm not home, or whatever. They probably would think we were crazy, but smart homes is a good reason to have the digital divide closed. So this is the fun part. I want y'all to tell me, and be creative, how you use technology. So Lynn, I'm going to open up the poll on my phone and start it. Yep, so you're gonna scan this code, and when I turn it on, you're only gonna have 1 minute to respond. So let me make sure that it's gonna be open on the screen. Okay. So y'all go ahead and if you're far away, you should be able to zoom your camera and capture it. Oh, it's not on? Okay. Oh, and if not, you can use the website. So I'll just read it off if y'all want to do the website. It's poll, POLLEB, like everywhere, .com. And you're going to do the slash that points to the right. C, Office of Digital Equity, 175. And that's the website. And I'll wait for everybody to get there. So it's poll, POLLEV, if you can't see it, .com/C Office of Digital Equity 175. Okay. So again, I want y'all to be creative. I already kind of gave you some examples, you know, the grocery store, the airport, but maybe it's something that I forgot. Or tell me, answer how you want to use technology if you can't think of a good example. And you're going to see the answers pop up on the board. So if you see it, think of something else. You got to go fast because you only got 1 minute. Okay, y'all ready? 3, you ready, Lynn? 2, 1. So go ahead. Oh, I guess I better start it, huh? Oh, no, she's starting it. So she's going to show the screen so everyone on Zoom can see it too. And then hit present. Boom. Okay, so it's on y'all now. So go ahead and start typing in your answers. The timer is going down. Lynn, at the bottom, it's like a toggle at the bottom. I forget what it says. Yeah, click responses next to instructions. There you go. Okay, entertainment, email, business, start a business. Okay, it's mixing up the words. Laptop, pay bills, help digital, misinformation. Ooh. Scholarships, that's a good one. Oh, wow, look at y'all. Y'all, slow down. Shopping. Okay. News, yeah. Somebody said dating. I don't see it, but yes, dating. I'm not ready for that, y'all. Those are all great. 17 seconds. Something with assistant. Gaming. I wonder who put gaming. I wonder. What's with baggage?
Like when you drop off the Amazon,
Okay. That's good. Government, health, spaces, airline. Those are all great, great, great. So could you imagine if you did not have the ability to do any of this? Because either you didn't know or you didn't have a device, maybe you got a cell phone, but you needed to use a laptop because it got to have Adobe on it. You know, it's so many things that could limit you. So that was fun. Yeah. And electric signatures, yep. Yep. So that was great. Thank you so much, Lynn. We'll go back to the presentation. And I got to watch my time because I get a little long-winded. We should have took a picture of that, huh? Here, don't close it, Lynn. We're going to take a picture. Nigel, you still back there? Oh, can you take a picture of the screen? Okay. All right. Dietrich, did you do the survey? What was your answer? Business. Okay. Okay. That's good. Thank you. Well, you'll have to look at it back there. Because we're going to do another one, and I don't want to erase it. Okay, so we know what the digital divide is. We know what digital equity is, right? So, okay, Clayton County Office of Digital Equity, what y'all going to do about it, right? So this is what we did about it. Back in 2022, when our office first started, we had a consulting firm called CTC, which is Columbia Telecommunications Corporation, and they developed a digital equity strategy for us, a strategic plan. And they also did a broadband feasibility study for us that identified gaps in availability around the county for broadband. So with that, we're going to go over a few things that we found in that survey and that feasibility study. We also developed a technical training program where we provide free digital skills for our residents. And I cheated a little bit because before I started in this role, I was the technical trainer for the employees. So I may have used some of the same content and just tweaked it for the public. But it's okay, it's still good information, right? But you all got Python first. County employees haven't gotten Python yet. So y'all are ahead of the game. So I don't know what other communities are teaching their residents Python, but, and I don't know if I said this. Did I say this? You know I got to toot our own horn. How did I miss this? Clayton County is the first county in the whole state of Georgia, unless it's something that maybe they just didn't put it in the newspaper and we can't find it when we do a Google search. As far as I know, we're the only county that has an Office of Digital Equity to do what we're doing. It is? So y'all should be proud. Y'all should be proud that you have a county that's interested in your digital needs. We know things happen, you know, in politics and, you know, I know something's going on with, not the millage rate, but one of these things that's happening. So like, it, you know, it homestead. So, you know, it's always something, but this is something that, you know, you can be happy and it's a good thing. And it's going to teach you how to survive in this. Tax dollars at work, right. So, and then the last one, we formed partnerships, and we have some of our partners here. One of my favorite is back there, Richard. We formed partnerships with local and national nonprofit organizations that provide free and low-cost digital devices. Inspire EDU has given us a lot of laptops. So we, you know, our budget is a little tight. Thank you, Richard. And we have other partners. Yeah, it's a lot of y'all in here that has some Inspire EDU laptops. And Richard is going to come up here and talk about their program shortly. But that's necessary because we can't do it on our budget. So we got to partner with people to help us. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. I bring you the people, you bring us the laptops. Okay. So that's what we did about it. So our study, and this might be a little hard to see, you can see Comcast has the biggest presence in Clayton County. And we, in that broadband study helped us to see so that we can now know, okay, we know the areas that need focus. Or the areas maybe where the internet speed is a little lower. So maybe I could call Michael and fuss at him and say, hey, Michael, I mean, come on, what are y'all doing over there at AT&T? You know, so this helps us. Oh, thank you, Lynn. And then AT&T has fiber and DSL. Comcast has cable. And then we have T-Mobile that's also in Clayton County with fixed wireless. That's usually like that little box that you have in your house. And also Verizon has fixed wireless. So that's the digital footprint for internet in our county. Oh, and Google Fiber and Charter were not pictured there. But they have a presence in Clayton County. It's a little smaller, but they are here also. Check my time. What causes the digital divide in Clayton County? So I told y'all we did a study, right? So in that study, our consultants called 1,800 residents. I don't know if any of you in here got a phone call with that study in 2022, but we found 3 gaps: broadband access gaps, device utilization gaps, and skills gaps. That'll be on the next slide. So with the broadband access, we found that low-income households are less likely to subscribe because they're low income. They can't afford a $100 internet bill. It's too expensive. So you're gonna buy groceries or you're gonna pay the internet bill. They had dissatisfaction with the reliability and connection speed. I hear it all the time. You know, I know for myself, I have the 100 megabit per second. No, actually I think it's 1,000. And sometimes I lag. If I get on Zoom, sometimes it drops. So a lot of people are dissatisfied with the reliability of their internet connection. The county is mostly served, meaning most of the county can get at least 100 megabits per second. I always get tongue-tied on that, or higher. So we're considered served. It's there. The fiber is there. The technology is there. We just might not be able to afford it or know how to use it. Then you have the device utilization gaps. 3 in 10 low-income households own a laptop or a PC. That's not a lot. So just a few people own laptops compared to the full number. Troubleshooting skills. I had one resident that called me. She was panicking. She had clicked on a button, and it was something simple like going into her settings and changing her default internet address that opens up when she goes onto the internet. But it looked like she was being scammed. And if she would have clicked on something, it would have been a scam. But she had to just go in and change her default browser when she opens up the internet. Something simple like that, just simple troubleshooting is, you know, a serious gap that we found through that survey. And then the skills gap. 15% do not recognize internet or email scams. We have a cybersecurity class. Our seniors kill it. Like, they take that class a lot. And they are our most vulnerable population, really. So just knowing the things to look out for, that was a gap. A lot didn't know. Low-income households are less likely to be skilled in various uses of the internet, such as connecting with doctors and purchasing groceries. And 30% were interested in having free or low-cost training, which we do it free, but we do have some partners that have some low-cost, like IT certificate programs. So this is what we actually did over the past 2.5 years. Everybody, or most of you might remember the ACP program. That was that $30 government subsidy that helped you pay your internet bill. That went away, and Congress just sat on it. They still are sitting on it. It's still waiting to be looked at, and it probably never will, but we're going to figure out a way around it. That's why we got Michael here and Gerald here. They're going to tell us about all of these great programs. And then we, with device, we gave away 566 free refurbished laptops and tablets. Well, not tablets, but like Chromebooks and laptops over the past 2.5 years. Go ahead, clap it up, clap it up. And then for classes, and this is an accurate number because I finished counting it today. I added January to the number. So since November, I think, of 2022, we have conducted 202 free digital skills classes. And that's just some of the topics. In Microsoft Office, we do Excel and Excel 2. Our residents are learning about pivot tables and all of that good stuff in Excel. Because who knows, that could open up, that might spark their interest, and they might decide, you know what, I'm going to go back to school. Or, you know, whatever the impact would be. So we have Microsoft Excel, we do PowerPoint, we do Word, navigating your iPhone and iPad, your PC, navigating technology, which is a general class where you can learn like different things. It's not just one topic. Protecting your digital identity, that's our cybersecurity class. And we partner with Delta Community. They weren't able to attend today, but that's a great partnership. They come and they do financial identity training with our residents. And then we have, and also Wood Forest Bank, we partner with them also. And then we have Introduction to Python that Nigel facilitates. I don't know anything about Python. Nigel does that class, but I'm gonna learn. So that's for your coders out there, gamers and coders, and it's like a programming language. What are we gonna do, or what are we doing? So we work with our partners. We will officially one day have an official coalition of, service providers, nonprofits, business owners. Everybody's going to be represented. That's not a done thing yet, but that's like on our to-do list. We have applied for state and federal, well, federal now, but we want to apply for state, but it's on hold. So we don't know how this is going to go. To support our workforce development and digital equity and device ecosystems, including our training. And we do this on a regular basis. We collect real life data and stories from the populations we serve. I know at least 2 or 3 of y'all in this room is on a video that we recorded after class. So, and we do surveys after every class. So we like to get input, and we'd like to know what you liked about it and what you want to have more of. So we collect real life data and stories from the populations that we serve. Okay, that would seem really long. That's my time. So now we're gonna invite Mr. Antoine, Richard, who else we got? Mr. Maris, we got Julian, and Miss Sharon Rayford. And they're gonna be our first panel discussion. And we're gonna be talking about why digital equity is important. And I wanted to diversify this panel to get like a perspective from, different angles. You never have to look. So I'll introduce each one of y'all. We missing somebody. Oh, there's Miss Sharon. And who else? Oh, Commissioner Davis. He's not here. So, Lynn, could you cue the video? We're going to go ahead and show Commissioner Davis first. He was supposed to be on the panel, but he had to, like I said, go to California to deal with the wildfire issue with his parents' house. So we'll see what he has to say first. And let me introduce them first, Lynn. Look, somebody take a picture. His face is frozen. Don't tell him I was picking on him. So we have Antoine here. Antoine is the founder and CEO of A2D. I always get tongue-tied with that. That is a fiber company that's planting roots here in Clayton County, and you'll get to formally introduce yourself soon. Go ahead, have a seat. And my buddy Richard here from Inspire EDU. This is where y'all got y'all laptops from, most likely. And then we have a young panelist here, Mr. Julian Hawkins. And I didn't officially ask him, y'all, so I know your daddy raised you right. You probably say yes, ma'am, too, don't you? Okay. But I asked his dad, I said, I think it would be so cool if we're going to have a senior on the panel and someone from the internet company, and it would be so cool to get a youth perspective. And he was like, yeah, sign him up. I was like, do you need to ask him first? And he was like, well, I'll tell him, but he'll do it. So thank you, Julian. And then Miss Sharon is one of our beautiful seniors, and I'll let you introduce yourself in a moment. And Ms. Damaris is from Clayton County Public Schools. So is there enough room for me? I'll stand up if not. Okay, I'll sit on the end. So y'all go ahead, have a seat. Let's get you some mics. I'll put one on each side. You can share it. Okay. So we're going to talk about why digital equity is important. And we did kind of go a little overtime on the last one, so y'all might have to talk fast. Is that okay? So, Mr. Davis, go ahead, Lynn. Let's cue Commissioner Davis and see what he has to say about digital equity.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Clayton County's Digital Equity Town Hall. I'm DeMont Davis, your Clayton County Commissioner, and it's a privilege to welcome everyone here this evening to the Digital Equity Town Hall, a gathering demonstrating a commitment to building a more connected and inclusive Clayton County, one where every resident has the tools and opportunities to thrive in today's digital landscape, one focused on opportunity, inclusion, and the future of our community here in Clayton County. We recognize that access to the internet, devices, and digital skills is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity. Whether it's for education, employment opportunities, healthcare, or staying connected with loved ones, the digital realm influences every aspect of our lives. However, within Clayton County, we face specific challenges. Home connectivity. Approximately 90% of our households in Clayton County have a broadband internet subscription, leaving about 10% without reliable home internet access. Our senior population. Our senior residents, who comprise nearly 10% of our population, often encounter unique obstacles in adopting digital tools. Many require support to effectively use technology for telemedicine, online banking, and maintaining social connections. Economic growth, which is important to our Clayton County residents. As Clayton County continues to grow with a population reaching over 300,000, digital access is pivotal for our economic success. Entrepreneurs, small business owners, and corporations rely on digital tools to expand their businesses and reach customers. The good news is that solutions are within our reach. By listening, learning, and collaborating, we can ensure that every Clayton County resident, regardless of age, income, or background, has the digital resources they need to succeed. The Office of Digital Equity have an informative evening of topics and discussions laid out for you ahead, and I encourage each of you to participate. The Office of Digital Equity have an informative evening of topics and discussions ahead, and I encourage each of you to participate actively. Your insights and experiences are vital in shaping a more digital, inclusive Clayton County. Once again, welcome and thank you for being here. Let's work together to bridge the digital divide and create a brighter future for all.
So I don't know if Commissioner Davis logged in. I know he thought about logging into the Zoom, but if he did, thank you, Commissioner Davis, for that video. That was beautiful. So this is y'all's panel. I've been talking for about, 20, 30 minutes, so I get a little break. So from each perspective, the technology, nonprofit, young people, seasoned people. Is seasoned the right word? Okay. I'm like, ooh, is that the right word? And from our school board perspective, so we just want to discuss why is it important. We already discussed what it is, and that we noticed that there is a divide here in Clayton County. So we'll start with you, Antoine, since you're on the opposite end. And from your work, your line of work, why is digital equity important?
So digital equity is important. I have a unique position in that. My company, we are really fiber in the county, and we're open access. But my perspective comes from affordability and access to essential services. In 2009, while going through the economic hardship that a lot of you may remember, I found myself at a point where we just could not afford, to be able to live. And one day I was sitting there trying to apply for government services, and doing that online, my internet was cut out. And because of that, I had to go to the local library and wait 2 hours just in order to get on the computer and complete that application for food stamps. In doing that, I sat there and I thought about what's going on with technology and something like that. I can't get access to the critical community services I need. So I came up with the concept of e-community, which is based on a very simple principle. As long as the entity that owns the infrastructure is charging you to get access, you will always have someone that's disconnected from the essential services they have. Your ability to be able to afford internet should not be the barrier. So I built a business around separating the connectivity from the internet so that I can now partner with municipalities to say, hey, look, we have a set of homeowners that just can't afford even the basic access. How can we get connectivity to them and still enable them to get to their critical resources? So the internet isn't the final destination, it's just the beginning. And so I look at access as a critical component. It's not a luxury, internet is not a luxury. Connectivity is a basic right.
Good evening, everyone. It's good to see you. Yeah, how you doing? My name is Richard Hicks. I'm the CEO of Inspire EDU, and thank you, Clayton County, for having us. Takia always chewing up time. And thank y'all for lending your time. And I want to give a shout out to one of our premier partners over there, AT&T, Michael Ruffin. I see you over there. Yeah, so I've been doing this work a very long time when it comes to the digital divide, and all the way from 2007 to see how we've evolved, but we left the access to technology and broadband education behind. It's like we put the cart before the horse. And when COVID happened, I think everybody saw that shift. They saw a shift in everything going online, but we already had that starting to take place when you saw things closing, things started moving, buildings, banks, even Georgia Power and all of those, you started to have to pay your bill online. And I think there was kind of a hesitation when it came to adoption of connectivity, because we had so many things that we were doing before then. We had so many challenges, all the way from healthcare. We needed to figure out what was going to be the priority. Well, when the pandemic happened, it created a necessity out of connectivity. We need to get connected across the board. In digital equity, it has been something that when I started my career in nonprofit, we didn't even talk about it. It was something that was kind of swept on the rug. What is digital equity? What, you know, we don't need to think about that. We need to think about, you know, getting people health care, getting people like the essential service so they can get a bank account. But we needed to know that digital equity was something that was going to be connected to all of those pieces. Our health care is starting to really change. We really got deeper into it as COVID started to take root. And now coming out of the pandemic, what we've learned is that it's no longer a nice to have. It is a basic need when you're trying to get connected to the internet and getting the education and all the way to the technology resource. Because a lot of you, when you raise your hands, you got the device. Now we see the device as it's not a nice to have either. We need that to connect to this world. Even going a little further as to putting our voting and registration now is going to be checked by whether or not you're connected and educated. So you've got to be able to make sure you're logging online, looking at your registration. Medicare, Medicaid, all of these things are moving people online just so you can check your status. No longer are you going to be going in these lobbies and sitting there waiting all the time. It's going to be appointment based, and they're going to ask you to do this through these portals. This is our new civil rights movement, honestly, that we've got to make sure that we are educated on the connectivity and the services that are available. We have to educate ourselves on what connectivity services are available to us so that we're not scrounging around. We've got to pass this on to our children and to our students who are coming, and they're going to be teaching this stuff too. How we learn it is going to be how we pay it forward. And connectivity and training it's essential. And I've said this on many panels, is that what we put into our community now is what we should expect from it later. If we put nothing in now, we shouldn't expect nothing but nothing. And this is what we want to make sure that everybody do across the board. Equity is no longer nice to have. It is a right. It is a right for us to have digital equity and making sure that education and connectivity across the board. And I'm proud to be able to sit up here and stand with you all and have this conversation. Conversations are like these are what we have to keep going. We have challenges coming over the next couple of years that we have to make sure that we don't lose focus on. We've got to educate ourselves. We can't get mad. Getting mad ain't gonna do nothing other than make things a little worse. What we have to do is get educated, get connected. And digital equity is not lost, and we don't want it to get put back into a lost state. We've earned it, It's right here, and we got to fight for it.
So go ahead. So I just want to add to what Richard said. I usually say that internet access is like a utility, like gas, electricity, water, and it's like right up there with the utility. But you said it's a right, because we are literally locked out of society. We can't get on to technology and know how to use it. So I'm gonna step my game up and I'm gonna say it's a right now. Thank you. Okay, Julian, so why is digital equity important to you?
For me, personally, I think it's like when everybody has their fair share of internet, because like 2 days ago, I didn't even know what it was until my dad like came to explain it to me, like last night. I was kind of like not off the hook, but just like on the edge like of confusion, trying to like understand the whole thing. But I learned that with digital equity, we can use it for tons of stuff like jobs, gaming, shopping, bills. And at 3rd grade, I didn't even know that during the pandemic, I didn't even know how internet works at that time. But from the laptop I got from her last time at the giveaway, I started to create some books for my little brother. And yeah, all I gotta do is print it out. And for me, I basically feel like everybody here can have like internet access. And you know when you go to other places and like they have like low or high internet like access, like you either like kind of be like laggy or stuff, like you're trying to do this, but you kind of like get that kind of loading screen, that kind of like a normie a lot. So the thing is, I feel like everybody should have them.
Thank you, Julia. So you were saying you didn't know a few days ago, you didn't know what internet was or what digital equity was?
Digital
equity. Oh, okay. So you realize you really do know what it was, you just didn't know the name for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know we need it, right? Yeah. Okay, thank you for that. Real life story. So you printed out, what did you print out for your brother?
It was a book called Xavier Cleans His Room.
Oh, okay, cool.
I still gotta print it out though.
Oh, so you know how to use a printer?
Yeah.
That's digital equity. Having access to a printer. A lot of people don't have printers in their home. So that's great. Okay, Miss Sharon.
And I'm up. As an older adult, I made a decision a long time ago that I didn't want to be left out of the loop. And as an older adult, we have to consciously make that decision, because a lot of times we can fall into that gap of, I don't want to learn this, it's new, it's too hard, and we can't go there, or else we will be left out of the loop. I started following digital equity back in March, and I actually became aware of them because I take note of the informational board in the library. I go to the Northwest branch in Riverdale, and they have a great informational board there. Whenever you're in the library, look at the informational board. You can find out everything that's going on in Clayton County. Well, that's how I got introduced to digital equity. So I jokingly tell Mr. Kia and Nigel, you know, I'm following you all around Clayton County, right? So that's how they got to know me, because I literally go to all of the courses that I don't mind driving to. Now, the one that's close to Decatur, I don't go to that one. But digital equity has made it very, very easy for us. They're going to so many different locations, and depending on where you live, you can pick and choose where you want to go. And because I've chose to go to a lot of the classes, I actually came to the first class thinking that I was computer literate, and I am, but I also realize that there's so much I don't know. There's so much to learn and know. And every class that I've gone to, and as even I look around the room, there's some of us that are regulars. We have a few of us have been following Mr. Kia and Nigel around Clayton County. And even with Miss Gloria back there, we were just saying the other day we were in a class, and it was the same class we had gone to, but we were both saying, but I learned something new every time I come. So every class I've gone to, my knowledge base is expanding, and I appreciate that. Nigel meets everybody where we're at. There are all different points of knowledge in that classroom. Nigel is so gracious. He meets us all where we're at. He gives us one-on-one attention, and he makes sure that we're all on board and we're all up to speed. And we stay together in that class, and we're learning together, and that's a wonderful thing. So I just want to thank you, Nigel and Mr. Kia, for what you do. I appreciate digital equity. And I look forward to continuing to gain more and more knowledge.
Now, I'm not going to put Ms. Sharon too much on the spot, but Ms. Sharon is so into our program, y'all, she will register like 3 times for the same class. So I have the email and say, okay, Ms. Sharon, I'm not kicking you out of class. I'm just taking off the duplicates, just so she'll know.
Well, sometimes I
you can
have those
still
senior
come.
moments, and I forget that I registered. And I'm like, did I register for that? Oh, okay, let me register again to
So
make
she's
sure.
going to make sure that she's in the class. And I'm glad that you said what you said about the locations and us going to where you are. So we do classes at senior services centers, whichever ones will invite us. I think we have 6 or 7 in the county. Libraries is maybe 5 or 6 libraries. We go to the libraries, we go to the parks and rec centers. We partner, if Gen Care is on Zoom, I know Terrence had RSVP'd, we go to Gen Care in Forest Park? Riverdale. We used to go to Forest Park, so they're in Riverdale, 138. And where else? Forest Park Senior Center, so that's with the city of Forest Park. Harvest Village, we got Jennifer here from Harvest Village, and we have a new partnership with the church, Flint River, the community center. Yeah, that's one of our county departments. What is that? Parks and Rec? Flint River's Parks and Rec, yeah. And Manifest Church up here on 130, Terra Boulevard. So we're gonna start doing trainings there. So we are open to new partnerships. Anywhere where we can go, where we can find the people that'll come and sit and learn. It's free to all Clayton County residents, so just keep that in mind. So thank you for mentioning that. That was a shameless plug. I had to throw that in there.
No, I just don't know. I appreciate you. Really do. And the color printouts that they give us are so informative that you can take them home and you can continue to learn on your own. Mm-hmm. So it's not just them feeding you the information. You have the ability and the information in your hands now to go home and continue to learn on your own. And we should do that too. We should continue to learn. And the only way you're going to remember this stuff is to keep doing it. So use those printouts that they give you. Go through them. They're so informative, and you'll get it. More and more. The more you come, the more you'll grow, and you'll learn.
So Ms. Sharon got y'all thinking we give out homework, but it is kind of, sort of, you know.
No, it's an instruction manual.
Yeah, and those manuals come from us having a program for our employees. And I don't know what other counties have like technical training programs for their employees, but we have a pretty big employee base. What, like almost 3,000 employees? 3,600? Oh, wow. So, you know, they roll through our training program. We train all week, every week, except holidays, of course. And sometimes the trainer, you know, is on vacation, but we're training. We use our room. 9181 Poston Road is our technical services and training building. Hey, April. So, yeah, we get good use out of that room. So, last but not least, Ms. Damaris from CCPS.
Well, look, I'm going to say yes, because Miss Sharon already approached me, and I swore she worked for them. So now sitting here knowing she's right, so she is. I was like, okay. As I'm sitting, I was like, oh, I thought she worked with them, because she's giving me brochures. We talked. She told me that they would come out. I said, I know. We already talked about it. We talked about opening it up to our parent liaisons. So yes, shameless plug. So good evening, everyone. It is good to be here, and so I'm glad to sit on a panel where we have such diversity, because I get to tell you all the side that you all often see. How many of you in here have access or you interact with what we call in the school district, we call them precious cargo, Littlefoot people, we call them scholars, students, we call them portrait of a future graduate. So everyone in here, raise your hand if you touch any of the 50,000 students that are in our school system, right? We touch 50,000 students, and even if you don't touch them from a community perspective, we all know that means they're still yours, right? Because they're still ours. So for us, digital equity in the school system means being able to provide the access to the digital resources so all of those 50,000 students have the ability to participate fully in the educational opportunity. And as we talked about it, you've got to have access to that in order to participate. And so I'm shameless plug because I know Julian knows that, because every day he goes in there, he's got to get on that laptop. All his work is on the laptop now, guys. They take their tests on the laptop. They register on the laptops. Parents, dad, you get the grades on the laptop. I'm sitting and I see my child. I was like, wait, what is this 89? Where's the other point, right? We get everything. You get all the information at ready at your fingertips. But it also is important for them to be able to develop their digital literacy skills. Because as these children who are our futures, I'm going to tell you, how many of you all have seen Star Trek? Okay, you're going to show your age. As pastor say, you just nod your head. You're on the right, raise the right. The original, right? I wish I had a giveaway, but there are only 2 things on the original Star Trek that in the 21st century that we cannot do. If you think about it, from when it can, how many of you, raise your hand if you think about the 2 things that we cannot do right now? Beam them up, and what else? Warp speed. Everything else you can do. You can talk, you can communicate, you can see people on the. If you think about it and go back and look, years ago someone was a visionary to be able to say, hey guys, all these things are doing. There are cars that drive themselves. I saw a FedEx truck that drove us. I think I was telling Takia that. And I was scared. I was shaking because I was like, wait a minute. And it was an 18-wheeler. And I was like, there's nobody in this truck. And I had to, and look, if I had any sense, I would have whipped around and drove behind it, but I was scared. They drive themselves, right? All of the things that are going on, remember, this world is moving on. And so guess who's going to be the individuals who are going to have to do those? They have to, you saw that video? So we have to now pivot and teach our students in that. You guys, they don't have books anymore. Where are your books, sweetheart? But you get some books, but what else, it's on your what? It's on your Chromebook. So we don't even, now we're spending less money on paper materials and handouts, and now everything is, they have to access it online. So what's important for us as a school system, we recognize, just as Takia said, that there is a digital divide, and so what we have to do is meet the needs of 50,000 students. So we have some kids who are just like Takia, like my house, you know, every room you go in, there's some, so I have my Android, but sitting back there, I also have an Apple. So I had to learn how to use both. So it's funny when she was saying, I have to learn how to pivot and use both, because I have to remember, oh wait, this is not the Apple. This is the Android. This is the Galaxy, right? So the reality is that for us, we have to meet the needs of 50,000 students. And so we, in the school system, we gave them the one-to-one. And Dr. Henry is no longer, when she was a board member, she was a pivotal resource in us being able to provide those 50,000 students one-on-one resources. But we also realized, too, similar to what Richard said, that at some point we realized they didn't even have the access at home. So we had to partner to get them hotspots and to be able, so they could be able to utilize that. Because one thing we recognize is that digital equity is important for them to have that access, because if they don't have the access, they can't fully participate in all of the instruction. But what Takia and I, as we sit on the Governance Alliance, and also Jamie, we talked about, one thing we also realize is that we have to touch across the district, across this community. So the truth of the matter is that we can't just focus on the students, because when they come home to the parents and the people who work with them, you've got to be able to help them and work with them. And so you've got to know how to access that and realize, oh wow, so you're thinking, where's your handout? And they're like, it's not on there. They've got to go online, and you got to be able to access and understand that this is how they're actually learning now. So digital equity is important for us, because we know that's the only way for all of our students to be able to fully participate. But that's what's career, it's life-changing for them, but it's career-affirming. As everyone has said, they have to participate. They're going to participate in everything online now. So we now have to begin to teach them, and that digital literacy is important. And so for the school system, that's what it means. I'm glad to be here and know that we're partnering with that. Our county is first in class in doing things and realizing that that spans across. And so when we, so as we touch our students, we touch the the younger ones all the way up to our seasoned experience, because guess what? A connected community is a community that is connected with the world.
I'm glad you said what you said about the children understanding, but the parents have to also. So Nigel is developing a new class because we're always trying to keep it fresh, right? We can't just keep doing Microsoft Excel and PowerPoint all the time. It's protecting youth from online dangers. So when he scheduled it, it was like, I think on a Friday, like at 10 in the morning. So I was like, Nigel, the kids are gonna be in school, but the class is for the parents, because the parents need to teach the child, you don't need to go click in here, you need to handle your device this way, and you know, there are parental controls for my son, he's in the back there somewhere. It's like Fort Knox in my house. I locks it down. Like the internet is shutting off at a certain time, and see, that's another like smart home type feature from my app. I just turn it off. And when I feel like he's just been on the thing too long, he'll just come out, Mom, did you turn off the internet? Mm-hmm, I sure did. So that's a good point that you made.
I have Earthquake, the comedian, he said, you want to know how to get your keys? He said, you can call him all day long. He said, just turn off the Wi-Fi. He said, turn off the Wi-Fi. He said, all of a sudden you hear fit, the internet's off, because that's how they live. And so, yeah, we have to meet that with our children, because everything they do, guys, I brought this up here, and I'm not for the sake of time. I was going to read you all a text message from my granddaughter, and you would be amazed. So she sends me this text, and she says, hey, Mama D, she said, 100 days of school, she said, I have my dress, I have everything, and she said, I just need you to send me pictures. And I said, okay, you need pictures? Why? She said, yeah, I'm getting ready to do a PowerPoint for 100 days because I want to show all the things I'm learning in school, and right? Then she sends me a selfie. Guess how old she is? Close. 5. And we actually thought about not getting her a cell phone, but you know what? Don't be afraid. Like you said, we do. But listen, guys, you must make sure that your children are technologically literate in this world. Mm-hmm. We do them no favors by hiding them away. What we need to do is make sure that they're safe, and we're teaching them how to be safe. But listen, this little 5-year-old is doing PowerPoints.
Oh, wow.
Now, Miss Sharon might go run. Miss Sharon might be giving her a run for her money now. But most of you as senior citizens and those of us at this age, I'm millennial. I really thought I am millennial. I thought I was further than millennial, but no, I'm Gen Z.
I think I'm Gen Z.
I think I'm Gen Z. I think I'm Gen X. Gen X.
Gen X.
Gen X.
Gen X.
See, I have to get it with Gen X. Don't claim it. Don't claim it. Don't claim it. But literally, that's what they're doing. Yeah.
No, X.
Well, we're X. Right, we're right out of baby boomers. Right.
Because Alpha is the babies now.
Alpha is the babies, 2013, my middle schooler, right. Yeah. But listen, guys, and I'm serious when I tell you, everything they touch. My daughter is in college. She has to assign her room. She has to do her classes she has to apply for her classes. All of that is online. So what we have to do is realize that we have to change how we educate our kids. And so we're telling our teachers, you can't shy away from that computer. Instead of us taking it away from them, we got to figure out ways to allow them the access, but do it safely, because they're going to get further and further behind in the world if we don't allow them that access and give them the ability. So
yeah, and no pressure, Julian. But it's an old song by Whitney Houston that say the children are the future. Yeah. You ever heard that song?
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it? Never heard of it. Well, look, I want you to go home and Google it. You go home and Google it.
I mean, sing it for you.
So because we know that digital equity is so important, y'all are gonna be the ones to progress it forward. So you gotta learn all you can while you're young.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, do y'all have any more comments before we?
One last
In this panel?
thought. Just well plug, shameless plug. Inspire EDU is going to be partnering, or we're working with the Georgia Hospital Association next Friday. We have a lunch and learn finally with telehealth. So some of you may have emails from me, and I've been encouraging people. This has been a partnership we've been working for last year, and we finally kind of got things down to launching this workshop to try to pilot it, but we want to get a lot of feedback from you all. They're going to be talking about information that may be pertinent that's coming down from on high, but then talking about how you'll be connected and how some of the resources. So it's next Friday at noon, and everyone's invited to come.
Thank you.
It will be at our office at the Volunteer and Training Center. So just see me after. I can give you the address, and we'd love to have you come and be there. But it's next Friday. Lunch will be served. I'm like, look, you're gonna have people there at 12. We gotta feed them now. Right, so I'm believing feeding people on lunchtime. So we're gonna have a lunch and learn, and it will be Inspire EDU in partnership with the Georgia Hospital Association.
Okay. And, oh, go ahead. Look, clap it up, clap it up. So, Antoine, if Gerald is Gerald going to talk about tomorrow?
Yes.
He is? Okay. I was going to ask you to mention it real quick, but if he's going to talk about it, we'll save it for the next panel. Okay.
Shameless plug, although I'm the CEO of A2D, I'm also CEO of E-Community Fiber. And we're here in the county, we're an alternate provider to AT&T and Comcast. However, we work with them as well. We have interconnect agreements, and our network will enable them to be able to come onto our network. Our goal is to try to make sure that everyone is connected, and once you're connected, then we can do all kinds of things. We are partnering with different municipalities. I want to partner with nonprofits. I'm going to talk to my man here to figure out ways that we can leverage our network in order to do new types of technology, new types of programs. We want to partner with seniors. We want to know as much as we can. But we need to know what you need. So I'll be passing out a flyer here today. We want to hear from you. We have a survey to understand what type of connectivity you have, what your gaps are, but also how we can come in and help you get connected.
Get the price lower.
Excuse me?
Get the price lower.
See, that's the benefit of us is we bring new providers. We bring more competition.
Is that to get the price lower?
Absolutely. Lower price, different types of options, as well as we're exploring ways to work with our nonprofit partners in order to get free connectivity to those who can't afford, or at least have a lifeline where you fall in a position where you can't afford it for a month, we can still keep you connected.
Thank you.
Okay. So, we're going to move on.
I mean, a question for the, you was talking about the computers, is that okay? Just quick.
Oh, Richard.
No, the young lady, Miss.
Right here.
Well, it's really for all of you guys, even the young man.
Mm-hmm.
You know
It's
how
going to be
you
real quick.
all day?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my grandbaby's having really bad headaches. So my daughter, because of the glue that's on the screen, and this is for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
we just ordered some glasses off Amazon. I think about maybe it was a lot of pairs, and it wasn't that expensive. But what it does, they give you this little blue light, and you put the glasses on, and it blocks the blue light so it won't hurt your eyes.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that.
And I put mine over my glasses, and it works.
Okay, good. That's good to know. Thank you for sharing that. All right, well, we're going to call, oh, yes, ma'am.
Back a year ago, when we had the $30, they stopped the program in Congress. Is there an HB number for that, or something we can be in touch with somebody up there?
For Congress,
Where the bill is sitting,
Mhm.
just sitting.
you can contact your congressperson, which is David Scott, for this area. He did support that bill. We posted it on our Facebook page, him and, what's the other person's name? And the senators were on there too, Senator Ossoff and Senator Warnock. So our local leaders did support the bill, but it's not up to them. All they can do is just sign it, but you can reach out to them and see, just voice your concern about it. So if there are no more questions, we got to get our service providers up here before we run out of time. So thank you all for participating in the panel.
This is just I'm going to ask you some questions, nothing too crazy. So we're going to start. Right. So if we could just have each of you talk about your services, who you work for, things like that. We'll start off with Atia, Mr. Tia, thank you.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Atia Kennedy. I'm a manager of external affairs at Comcast. And, you know, one of the things that I initially want to start off and say that, you know, I'm probably the new kid on the block out of the folks on the panel here. And I'm actually what they call a COVID kid myself. My first year of college is when the pandemic hit. And so I'm very familiar with navigating a lot of the challenges and just kind of shifting to a world where, as Richard was saying, this is no longer, you know, a nice to have, but a necessity. And so coming into an industry and learning that there's just so much depth to broadband access, to internet access, to all things technology is really interesting. And then with Comcast specifically, I love being able to really touch different communities through that work. So for example, we had Richard up here. We were just joking about how this is the Richard show. Richard is everybody's favorite. And with Inspire EDU, we actually have what we call a lift zone. And so that's a free Wi-Fi hub where folks can come in, and it's a place that you might already go to, a YMCA, a Boys and Girls Club, wherever the case is, and you're able to access that internet service. Flint River, we've got one right there, yes. So just so many places where you can directly touch the community that were born out of the pandemic. We've also got our low-cost internet services, such as Internet Essentials. So if you are able to apply, we definitely encourage you to do so. For most folks who are able to apply for any government benefits, the same criteria typically applies for our Internet Essentials program as well. And yeah, it's just been truly eye-opening over the past few years to really see how much of an impact one can have when we're trying to bridge that digital divide and that digital gap. And so happy to be here, happy to answer any questions however I can, and thank you all for your time tonight.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I feel like I'm on the hot seat. I feel like Takia's called my name like 5 times tonight. Good evening. My name is Michael J. Ruff, and I serve as Director of External Affairs for AT&T. In my role, I'm responsible for our economic development, public policy, and community engagement initiatives here in Georgia, specifically for Fulton County, Henry County, City of Atlanta. That's my territory, right? So the way I like to view my job is that, you know, I'm at the cusp of bridging and connecting community, business, and government, right? Takia and I met a few weeks ago, probably sometime late last year, during the Clayton County Chamber of Commerce luncheon. And back then, my leadership, Vanessa Harrison, who just retired today after 45 years of service, yes, and from a phone operator to the president's office. And now we're being led by Riley Blunt as our new president of AT&T Georgia. And Takia stood up and said, well, what are you guys doing in Clayton County? And Vanessa says, well, go talk to Mike, right? And then somebody else said, we don't have fiber in my neighborhood. And Vanessa says, go talk to Michael. And somebody else says another thing about, you know, I'm still on the copper line. And Vanessa says, what? Go talk to Michael, right? And so over the last 3 to 6 months or so, Takia and I have been locked in step in terms of what does this thing look like? What are we doing here at AT&T, right? We've been in the state of Georgia for 145 years, right? We've invested more than $14.9 billion here in the state of Georgia, and just in terms of our wireline and wireless network, right? Here in Clayton County, we have 62,000 residents and businesses that are connected by AT&T fiber, right? One thing I heard tonight was that, hey, will my services be lower, cheaper, right? Here's the thing about competition. It is good for business, right? Competition is good for business. The more competitors that we have, right, the more your rates will be lower. I know that, you know, there's federal resources out there available, right? More recently, I reached out to Kia and the CI Chief Technology Officer about, hey, can you guys support our letter to access the state's BEADS program? Is anybody familiar with BEADS, Broadband Equity Access Deployment Grants? Right. So right now, the state, they're rolling down. These guys know because these guys are bidding for that, right? Rich, he knows what's happening. Right now, the state is going through an application process, which all of us competitors, right, are bidding for state funding for us to subsidize our overall costs to further invest in our network. What does that mean? That means we want to bring more and more services to the community. But that cannot happen if we don't have partnership, collaboration, and competition, right? When you talk about, you know, affordability, ACP is sitting somewhere in Congress. Who knows where, on what desk, and where it's at? Well, for AT&T, we say, hey, we're still going to make sure that we take care of people. We have AT&T Access for a qualifying household. So if you grew up like me, food stamps, welfare, whomever it is in the house, right? Low income housing, and you qualify to receive AT&T Access at $30 a month, right? Also, we have AT&T Prepaid and AT&T Cricket. Those are our low-cost wireless services, right? You've seen Cricket Wireless. That is an AT&T business, right? Also, when we talk about this effort to bridging the digital divide, right? Just in the state of Georgia alone, we've distributed 5,000 laptops to families, right? I want to say when I first joined the Georgia team sometime in 2023, when I first met Richard, we distributed 500 laptops. It initially started off as saying, hey, we're going to give away 300. Well, me being overzealous and not managing the registration process, we had somewhere about 520-something people that needed to register and have registered and received the laptop. Richard called me in a panic, like, Mike, we got way too many. I went to my leadership, Riley Blunt, and said, hey, we got a problem, and I think it's a good problem, right? I need another 250 laptops. Can you make it happen? She was like, can you still manage it? Of course we can. Got a great partner in this guy. Let's make it happen. First met him, we distributed 500 laptops. On top of distributing laptops, we have what's called AT&T Connected Learning Centers, right? We have a goal to build out 100 connected learning centers by the end of 2027. And I'm a level set here. This is how important the state of Georgia is to AT&T. To have an AT&T Connected Learning Center, it takes a lot of partnership and collaboration. You gotta have the right nonprofit, they gotta have the infrastructure there. You know, we provide free fiber services for 3 years. We make a $50,000 contribution. We make sure that the room is built out with AT&T fiber services. We have a smart television. We also make sure the room has 20 to 25 all-into-one computers, right? In the state of Georgia alone, right, we have 6 and 2 more coming online. In my hometown where I'm from, New Orleans, Louisiana, we only have 1, right? I worked also for AT&T Kansas. There's none in AT&T Kansas, right? This state is so important to us from an investment standpoint, from a community engagement standpoint, to being on the ground. We're always going to be here and invest, right? So I know I said a lot, and here's the truth, right? We can't be everything to everybody, right? But we want to do the best we possibly can. I'm an open door. You can call me. I have cards. I'm old school. You can text me. Takia will tell you, like, I'll take your questions. Doesn't matter, right? So just wanted to share some thoughts.
So my name is Gerald Rector. I'm with eCommunity Fiber.
Thank you. I just want to thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. You guys are going really in depth. I'm going to run out of questions, though. I'm joking, by the way, but continue, though. I appreciate you.
I'm trying to make it brief.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm trying to make it
Thank
brief. So we're eCommunity, as my CEO sitting there, Antoine Alsobrook. We basically started A2D with the founder here back in 2005. We basically have moved our crescendo forward of putting infrastructure in to solve the digital divide and through his vision to move us forward. We basically went out and put the network in various communities where the need is necessary. We have an open access network where providers like that sitting on this panel can utilize our network and bring the cost down to your point, to be able to provide services for those citizens that may not be in the higher tier that we kind of talked about over the course of the evening. And so those folks can work with 3 providers on our network. They basically compete for their businesses. We bring fiber to their home, a brand new infrastructure that is put in by our organization, and bring that in to be able to provide the types of services that the citizens and the students need when they go home and do homework at a high level, high speed connectivity back to the service providers that come in with an understanding that they're competing with other providers, but in the same breath, it helps the consumer to be able to provide those services for their family and be able to connect them to the digital divide.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, so my first question for each of you. Mr. Ruffin, you brought up copper earlier. So why do some residents still have copper in 2025 instead of fiber optic cables?
Well, I'm going to try to give you 100,000 foot level and bring it all the way down to the ground, right? Some of us have been around enough where we remember the old rotary phone, right? The dial-up, right? I remember when I didn't have a computer in my house, but my buddy across the street, you have to pull a phone jack out, put it in the back of the big old tower, and you got the AOL dial-up, you go doo-doo-doo, and I would, you know, kick everybody off the phone line because I want to vote for NBA All-Star stuff, right? Back then. Later on, technology evolved. Copper became the latest and greatest technology, DSL, right? During that time period, and I'm gonna say my age, this was the age of illegally, you know, burning CDs, right? And download music, line while you bear share. I was one of those kids, right? And now we're at a space where we're overbuilding or migrating off of copper. Here's why. Because consumer demands it, right? The marketplace has demanded it more, right? When you think about the pandemic, when you think about the drop of the iPhone in 2007, 8-ish with 3G technology, right? When you think about what happened with the pandemic, when you think about all these things that have occurred, right? The technology evolved, has shot out the roof, and the copper can no longer handle it, right? If you've been in some more rural neighborhoods and communities, right? That investment is obsolete now, right? So which is why it's important for, or the state, not the state, or why important when the federal government decides to say, hey, we need to further invest in roads, bridges, and technology and broadband, right? So in essence, right, we're trying to completely phase away from copper, but it's gonna take some time, right? It's gonna be extremely expensive to do, right? So, but we can't do it by ourselves. So we're relying on this collaborative partnership between the federal, state, and local, right? But also engaging the subject matter expertise, whether it be from open internet access or whether it be from AT&T. You know, historically, we're known as a telephone company, right? But if you think about it, we are now moving into a fiber and wireless 5G company because of where technology is and what the consumer and the market demands. You know, to Kia's point about having a smart home, right? The average household has 15 devices that are connected to a Wi-Fi network or to your fiber or something in your home. That number will double in the next 10 to 15 years. If you like me, I have a 5-year-old who's running around and he's got his smart tablet, he's got Netflix and show he's watching. I've got my phone, I got my iPad, I got my laptop. We got the smart fridge and the smart garage and all this stuff, all this technology, and right, we have to further invest, right? Because what we don't want to have is a bad end user customer experience, right? We don't want to have what we call network congestion. And in order for that to relieve that congestion, we have to constantly invest, right? To your original question, why are about 5% of AT&T customers are still on a copper network? We have now technology and resources that have been made available to migrate them off. We have AT&T Phone Advanced, we have AT&T Fiber, and we have AT&T Air, right? I don't have those one pages with me, but I will make sure send that to you, to kids, so you can distribute to the community, as well as the AT&T Access. And I also heard something about parents and safety. We also have a program called AT&T Screen Ready, right? This is about protecting your kids and yourself and how to safely navigate the internet, right? So we have a number of tools and resources, and as you're building out that program, I would love to be a thought partner in that. So.
Thank you for that.
Oh, that's okay. So yeah, I want to echo a lot of the sentiments that Michael mentioned. A lot of it is sometimes in this industry, it can be a bit of hurry up and wait, right? There's so much that we are trying to do and ensure that everyone can get equitable access. But like he mentioned, these things take time. It is a private-public partnership that is required, and so much of that is going to take time. But our goal is always to ensure that everyone has access to the resources they need, to the best services they need. We're in an ever-changing world. Sometimes it feels like technology is changing faster than you know that us as individuals can keep up with it, right? And you know, I don't know about y'all, but you know, every day I'll go online and I'll see some new innovation. I'm like, wow, like this is a different world every day. And so just making sure that we're keeping that in mind, prioritizing that our folks on the ground and in the communities are able to have access to the resources they need. So Michael dropped a lot of good gems. I'm not going to talk your ears off with a lot of the same things, but that was some good stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, as far as e-community is concerned, we're putting in a new fiber infrastructure today. So everything that we're putting in will provide for those future efforts those future technologies that she referenced today. We'll be able to provide those types of services today. Whatever that consumer needs at that home, we're ready to provide those things today. We're connected to one of the largest data centers in the world, connected to Clayton County. We can provide access to all of those services, whether it be a business, or you're doing the disaster recovery, or you're doing the distance learning at your home, or you're doing telemedicine. We're prepared to provide those services today to any community, any set of folks that are looking for that particular thing, and in most cases at a reduced rate, because we own the network and there's competitors that are competing for that end user's business, and we can do those things today.
Thank you all for that. I wanted to know, and if you could just explain to our residents about the Morrow City, Smart City Initiative.
Yeah. So E-Community partnered with the city of Morrow, basically came to them with some ideas of how they could modernize their city. And we basically took the first effort was to do the district. I don't know if everybody knows what a district it is. It's located right behind the South Lake Mall. And basically we've put in an infrastructure there to support all of their efforts in that. They do a lot of events there. They have businesses that are in that location. And basically, the city manager came to us and said, "How can we help in enhancing that particular property, where it would be a showplace for the city of Morrow?" And we basically sat down with them, talked about the solutions and ideas that they had, and brought some more solutions to the table, and basically started down that road. This is kind of a phase one that I'm sure most folks have heard about with our initiative that we got working with Antoine Alsabrook and the rest of our team to get those things in place. We have a wireless apparatus that we're working on right now, and we're doing some other things with the community to try to make them more efficient, where they're able to utilize wireless technology and things like that in the community. Just simply by sitting down with that city government and talk to them about what they can do, what things are they having trouble with, and we came up with solutions with them, and they became a real good partner for us.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So that will conclude my questions for tonight. We were running a little bit short on time. But, it's a blessing to see that, we have beautiful minds working on this same initiative with the same goals. And I do believe that we will get to that end goal pretty soon. It won't be, easy, but we will get there together. And there is strength in community. And speaking of the community, I kind of want to open the floor to just a few questions, if you guys have any questions. Yes, ma'am.
No, we still have phone service. We still have phone service. So I go up in the attic, take out the old phone and plug it in. So when the phone go out, you done.
So you probably were migrated off it without you even knowing about it, right? So there are some households that are still on the old landline, right? And this is something that I've heard our CEO say. It's like what keeps him up at night is a senior citizen not being able to make that call in an event of an emergency, right? And what we've learned is in trying to educate the community and migrate them off the old network of the old outdated technology is that oftentimes our methods were somewhat ineffective, right? Because we're sending mailers and you may not read your mail, right? You may not know what's happening, and before you know it, you haven't responded, you haven't migrated over, you don't know what's going on, and it's just kind of like off, right? Part of my role is, and I like to always call this, I'm a guy who's boots on the ground, ear to the ground, right? Navy SEAL, like I'm ground level, right? We recently done this study in Oklahoma where we found it was only maybe 20-something customers who didn't realize or who didn't know it, and we had to really have a conversation with them and like, hey, you have a better, more superior product available, and it's a lot less expensive than what you're paying now for this old, obsolete technology. Because here's also the thing about having that obsolete technology. When you no longer make the materials, right? when you no longer have the workforce to manage that and repair it, right, it is more expensive to have. So when you have the newer technology, in its essence, it may seem more expensive on a month-to-month basis, but from a maintenance standpoint and in operations and getting to you faster and resolving it quicker, right, it's a lot faster, right? So oftentimes we're learning it's a bit of a communication effort, right, in getting the message down and the method to it, right? And oftentimes we've noticed that, you know, people just don't know, like it's just not happening, right? So the part of the reason why I'm here today is that, listen, I want to know exactly what's happening, right? I want to be able to take this back to my leadership sometime on Monday, right? You guys can ping her or whatever it is and say, hey, he came and talked to us, here's what was said and here's what didn't, right? If I can't answer a question today, you have a commitment to me where I will get back to you with it, right? I think I've done, and I will get back to you.
All right. So we have time for maybe one, maybe two more questions. Mr. Jim?
Being more like the land trees, and we still have so much above ground, how long do you expect it to take when we get in ground, where we don't have all this interruptions from all the storms?
I'm not a network ops guy, right? Let me just preface that. I will say that. When you look at the way cities and communities are built, right, it probably makes the more sense for us to have aerial fiber, right? And trying to navigate it around trees, and I understand what you're getting at is, you know, we just had two major catastrophic hurricanes that kind of hit this part of the state, right? And one thing that we have at AT&T is we have a dedicated team, what we call disaster recovery and response and restoration efforts, right? You know, pulling trees down and getting folks on the network and getting out into the field and cleaning the roads. It just makes sense, and you know, from a network standpoint, I'm not a network guy. There's somebody who designs it, constructs it, and you know, manage it and maintain it, and you know, I can't give you the exact why it's aerial versus buried, right? I will say that it has a lot to do with, you know, how the neighborhoods or the communities are constructed at its most basic level, right?
All right, last question of the night. Who wants it?
Do they have cards?
Oh.
Of course I do.
Yes, real quickly.
Yes, ma'am.
In ground, okay. They did, they had an outage, not too long ago. And my internet is not working right. And it is,
Are you an AT&T customer? No shade at all. I was gonna say because you guys are familiar with 311, call before you dig, right? Sometimes there are situations that happen when it's construction projects, engineering projects, development projects. Sometimes the locates may be marked inaccurately, and or you know, fiber lines are very hair thin, right? It may not be buried properly in your front yard or your backyard, your easement, and somebody may have cut the grass or whatever it was, construction, somebody may have hit a line that may not be directly your line or up the block.
I don't even have it like that anymore, you know. Because I got rid of Xfinity, they were in Comcast and You want to get it? Yeah. Because I'm with T-Mobile, so I got the box now, and to be honest, it's the best as far as like not buffering and different things like that. But when they had the storm, it was a storm that did something to the what do you call it? The big thing, those big transformers. And now it's kind of like acting up.
The kid get T-Mobile here, baby. No, but I say Takia get T-Mobile here, but it's
One thing about it, and no disrespect.
no, not at all, not at
I'll
all.
talk to you.
Of course, I'm happy to have a conversation.
Xfinity was buffering like crazy. I have a lot of, megabytes with it. And at the end of the month, it's still the same. It just goes and goes and goes. So that's why I'm moving normal now.
So,
I had a lot of fun tonight. I had a lot of fun on this Friday night.
so this was a great panel discussion, and I want to thank Ms. Kennedy, Mr. Ruffin, and Mr. Rector for coming and joining us tonight. Give them a round of applause. So much.
So y'all, we are at time, unfortunately, and we still got like 3 or 4 more slides. But I wanted y'all to do another poll to tell us what you want from us. So maybe y'all can just email us, since we don't have time to do the actual poll on the survey. And it'll be on this last slide. So feel free to scan our QR code. That's our Eventbrite, our X, who used to be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can find us on those locations, and you can email us to tell us your suggestions. Party's over, huh? Thank y'all for coming out. I hope y'all enjoyed it.